Mike, would you say it's the perfect start to the season so far?
I don't know if a coach is ever quite satisfied, right? I mean, obviously, we're pleased with the early results, our connection, and where we are with such a new group. And I mean, obviously, it's a better start than the alternative. So, as long as we're kind of getting better every day and kind of moving forward is the goal.
Is it ahead of the connection more than you expected? Is it coming quicker?
Yeah, I would say, to be honestly, a little bit yes. I think we have a really high IQ team. They're able to do some things that, we just have a lot of experience in the NBL. We have some high IQ guys that can figure some things out and kind of get us in the right direction, and I think our leadership's been outstanding.
You had a lot of turnover from last year. Do you think that's had a lot to do with it? The guys that you've brought in have been able to gel quickly because
Yeah.
of the common goal?
I think everybody's made a lot out of that. I think that we had a lot of really high character guys last year, but for some reason, it just didn't click the way you want it to all the time. We're in a new formation. It's a new group. It probably has happened a little bit quicker than I anticipated, but our commitment to what we're trying to do has been excellent, and our communication has been really good. It hasn't been perfect, but we're trying to figure things out on the fly, and I think they've done a really good job of being open and accepting of coaching and what we're trying to do, and then listening to each other.
I think it was on day one of preseason. I asked you how different was it day one of preseason the year before. How about this far in? How different is the chemistry feel to this point 3 weeks into your first season?
Yeah, well, I would say for me personally, it feels totally different, to be honest with you. I just have such a better understanding of the group, how practices should look here in Australia, what my Australian players expect, how the imports function within the group, just a better handle on the league and our opponents and everything. So, I mean, it's been a lot easier flowing that way, even with new players and stuff. I feel like I just have a better understanding of them individually and then collectively.
Nick Kosovic got off a plane. To be honest with you, said in the press last week, I'm not sure if any of us actually believed you very much, but he was going to get many minutes. He did get 10 in the end. Are you expecting that he'd get a few more tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think he may be the only guy that's ever played for Adelaide before he came to the city. I mean, it's kind of an unusual thing the way it happened for us to be in Cairns. And he just shows the kind of player he is and who he is as a person, that he was willing to go out there and wanted to play and be a part of it. And then, probably like 10 of those minutes were in the course of the game and 5 of them were at the end. So I didn't anticipate him playing that much, but I mean, he ended up with 8 and 8 and 15 minutes. And, we're trying to sync him with the group just like you always do whenever you add a new player in. It changes the chemistry a little bit. And you're just trying to, get him linked up with Z and with Bryce and with DJ and, what those rotations look like and where he can, impact the game.
Looked like Bryce sat out of the last part of the scrimmage yesterday. Is that just management with the amount
I didn't see that. What are you talking about?
The last one.
Is that just a usage thing with him sometimes that he needs to be managed?
Yeah, he's 33. I mean, we need to play with him. We need the reps, but he doesn't need the reps. It's that balance as a coach between, how much is good for Bryce and then where the line is and then how much is good for the group. And we're always trying to figure out the connection and how we do it on offense as well as defense. But there were periods you guys probably didn't see that Zylan didn't play, Ice didn't play, DJ didn't play. So we were strategic about rotating guys out, and you just caught the end of it where, how many minutes does Bryce need in practice? He's 33, kind of knows what he's doing. So you're always just trying to find that balance as a coach.
Someone might have asked this. I was a bit late jumping a fence to try and get in. But Kent Hinkley was here yesterday, the old power coach. What kind of a relationship do you and him have? It sounds like he's able to offer some insights that maybe a bit different to your experience in basketball, but also in the American school system.
Yeah. Well, he's just a tremendous resource for me. I got to know him a little bit last year and then kind of tried to visit some this year. When our season ended last year, it was a big part for me to just sort of figure out Australian sports and whatever sport that is and how it functions and how the team functions and how the locker room functions and, what everybody's sort of used to. And I really tried to dive into knowing my players better, the guys that were returning, and DJ and Ice and Ben Gristy and Keanu, and then we had a whole bunch of new guys. But, he's just a valuable resource for me. He just has a really good feel for people. Obviously, he did a lot of things successfully here with Port. He's not doing anything right now. He's in Adelaide, so why not tap into that resource? And he's been a really, really valuable for me.
It sounds like he loves basketball as well, which probably helps.
Yeah, he loves basketball, and I think he's just enjoying, figuring it out what it looks like without footy. And so maybe there's that routine of coming to practice. And, if he can come over a few days and spend some time with me and with the coaches and, just see what we are doing, I think the door is always open for anything like that.
What are those biggest differences that you notice between Australian sport? What is it you're learning when you see sports that are different to the American?
Yeah, well, I know American football. I think it's really kind of cool for a basketball coach to watch somebody that can organize, 38, 40, 60 people. I'm only worrying about 11 to 15 and how you keep them organized, and then the different positions, the position coach. I think there's just tons of different things that can apply to basketball in a really small area, like how many different ways we can watch film, whether it's as a team or individually or with your coach or position. And, they do all that kind of stuff. And I think just structurally, when they lift, how they lift, what it looks like, when their off days are scheduled. Because there is some, probably all of my basketball guys that are Australian played footy at some time in their lives. It's that big in the culture here. So why not dig into it and figure it out? And if there's something, like one thing that helps us, then it's worth it.
What sort of challenges do Tasmania bring?
Well, I just think they're a really well-organized team. Scott Roth does a really good job. They're organized, they're detailed, they'll be prepared. They control the pace of the game, and they're a physical opponent. And, we'll have our work cut out for us at home. And we're just excited to get back at home and play in front of our fans and, play at the entertainment center and, just see where this group can go and to see if we can keep it moving forward.
I know it's only 2 games, but are you sensing the excitement of what that does for the fan base? They're hungry for success.
Yeah, well, we're just, I'm trying not to focus on it too much and stay on what the group is and what we're trying to do. But yeah, I've been probably recognized a few more times where I go out to the grocery store and somebody says, hey, good luck, coach. So those things are fun. I don't really care for me. I want them to have all that success. They're doing the work. They're doing the job on the court. It's just fun to see a little momentum build for them, and I know how much they put into it.
I know that you've got Tassie to go through first, but given everything that happened with Kendrick Davis, Saturday's obviously going to be a massive occasion for the entire league. How exciting is this sort of 2-game spell with 2 games?
To be absolutely honest, I'm focused on Thursday. If you would have asked me who we play Saturday, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I really think it's important for this group because we're so new and practice has taken longer than it should because we're still learning, language. I speak American English, you speak Australian English. Like I keep saying, we got to speak Sixer. And Sixer is that we're all saying the same thing. So, us being organized and prepared for the challenges that Tasmania is going to present is really important. And that's the most important game right now is the next one. And then obviously on Friday, we'll turn our attention, whatever the result is on Thursday, there'll be a different sort of focus for Saturday.
Just on Tassie, you've got a little glimpse of them at the Blitz. That probably helps this early in the year to have some insight into a team that are playing up close as opposed to just on the scout tape.
Yeah, that was a really strange day. That was the day that the basket fell on Ben. So I watched the game last night, and I really didn't remember parts of the game, to be honest with you. We had to play small a lot, but we were a little bit off that day because what happened to our teammate, to be honest with you. It was a good game. We competed. We did some things out there that looked like a preseason game, and some guys were playing out of position because we didn't play with Bryce and we didn't play with Ice in that one, and then we didn't have Ben. So, Z was our starting 5, and I think he was like the only big that we had. Blake Jones played in that game. So it was just sort of different, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was good for me to watch and and just sort of see what they were doing. But I don't think it's going to have much bearing on this game tomorrow.